Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bremen Pokemon Trading Card Game Regional Championships 2022. I'm Farrah Pierce, back here with Connor Hayward. Still doing great, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, after that game, I had cake.
Yeah.
There was a break. Unfortunately for Philip, I used that time for cake.
Well, we had the sort of for those of you who missed the last round, it ended a little bit quickly. Is that?
We'll see.
Yeah. Sorry, before we had something going off. So yeah, last one ended quite quickly. I think it's safe to say there was a very sort of swift 2-0 sort of first game win from Jake, and then a Eevee donk in game 2. So it's a very swift conclusion to round 5.
Which is always unfortunate, but it does happen. Is one of the downsides of playing these decks, which can be kind of pressured down by Mew so aggressively.
Yes.
But we're going to see a different take on Mew in this round. We've gone down to table 27. And we did so because we were tipped off that there was a slightly unusual Mew list that was doing pretty well, being played by Gilbert McLaughlan. And we'll see that come in the next round, which is a little bit less typical.
Yes.
Which will be cool because everyone kind of assumes Mew is a solved deck. And actually we're seeing a bit of a riff here, which will give us a different thing. It looks like we had the names the wrong way around. But we can swap that around in a second as we see the prices come down. So the list for Gilbert doesn't include the Fusion Strike energies. It doesn't include Else's. It is instead purely about kind of psychic looping and trying to survive for as long as possible. As we get underway with the fist bump, and not an ideal start if you're Jorrit. Jorrit, they're the one playing the Crobat.
No, so starting with the Crobat V, of course, you never really want that to happen because it's there for its Dark Asset ability where you put it onto the bench to let you draw until you have 6 cards in your hand, but unfortunately forced to start with it there. So there goes Jorrit there on the left with the, again, wrong name, but that is Jorrit there.
Yep.
And going to be starting off with a capture energy, so being able to look through the deck and just kind of see what's what, and it looks like going to be eyeing up an Arceus V, which of course makes sense. Yeah, playing this Arceus Inteleon, the Beedrill deck. It's a variant of Arceus that we've seen sort of tick up in popularity a lot over recent times.
Well, and the important thing with this though is the very nature of Arceus is get that turn 1 attachment, get it down, get set up. But with Beedrill in this particular matchup, I think is the win condition. I don't think that Gilbert's list is really designed for it because Gilbert is basically playing the Psychic Loop, a Psychic Leap loop, effectively, kind of build with heavy disruption, ability lock, but also just stops you ever really sticking any meaningful damage.
Exactly. Do you see, for everyone watching at home, that Crushing Hammer right there at the bottom of the deck? You don't see that in Mew very often, do you?
I would argue for good reason.
Yeah, yes, to be fair. I am very curious to see how this list actually works in all fairness, because I think there could be a lot to be said for, literally only double turbo energy being run in this deck. So it's a very different kind of aim for a Mew list, clearly, with that sort of disruption in there. But Gilbert off to a great start with the setup. Has Battle VIP Pass, Crownmatic Heads.
Which is another VIP pass right here. To get this board set up. Yeah,
and he might want to find, if he really wants to use Fusion Strike systems this turn, obviously he's going to want to find himself a counter stadium of some kind. Or Flannery. Yeah, this is another card we don't see very often at all. So
this is actually particularly interesting, though, because typically, and this is already going to tick Jorrit off, that this is not the normal list that you're thinking of. For Gilbert to have to go for Flannery here, that tells you that they're not playing other counter stadiums.
Yes.
Because Gilbert's playing his own Path to the Peak. Which, since that's the card that everyone's like, well, we'll play this against Mew because it shuts down their strategy, the very fact that Gilbert's gone, well, I'll just play my own.
Yeah, because I guess, once Gilbert's gotten to that point where he's already set up, he doesn't have to worry anymore. He thinks to himself, okay, now all I need to do is stop my opponent from doing stuff, and I don't care about drawing with my own Fusion Strike systems anymore, so I'll just play down my own Pass to the Peak. And yeah, like you said, that is it means that the Flannery is actually the only way to get rid of an opposing Pass to the Peak in a situation like this where you haven't set up yet and you need to.
Yeah, so...
And of course, Flannery able to discard 2 things, so not only discarding the Pass to the Peak, but able to discard that capture energy too.
Which is really good, because whilst the Crobat itself is never really going to be attacking in this matchup, the fact that it can also just easily kind of sneak through the damage is pretty good. I just noticed that the timer is not running, so we can't do the normal timing of how long a Mew turn lasts. But we do
Yes.
see the Eevee come down too, and like this is the thing. Like normally when you're up against Mew, you're expecting pressure, but it is also deceptively tanky in a format where you might not run into too many Dark attackers.
Yes.
I mean, we have seen that with Dark Box, but like not always going to happen. And
No.
this is one of those matchups where actually you get away with it.
Yeah, it's a very different kind of sort of like almost like worry you have to have in a way. And yeah, if you're Jorrit right now, you got to be like raising your eyebrow here, like asking yourself, what's going on here? Really, I'm seeing an Eevee with a memory capsule. I'm seeing crushing hammers. I'm seeing a Flannery. Like, what am I playing against?
Yeah, it's a spicy little list. So here we go, getting the double turbo energy down. You've already suspicious. I think at this point you already have to know something's up with this list, right?
Yeah, surely. I mean, you don't see a Flannery getting played and then think, oh yeah, this is definitely like a standard Mew list happening. There is a Marnie from the Jorrit side though, so Gilbert being put back down to 4 cards. Jorrit gets of course a fresh 5, but Jorrit doesn't really have a way to attack this turn, as far as I'm aware.
No, I don't see a way of switching this Crobat.
And no way to attach extra energies either. There is an Arceus V-Star coming down though.
Okay, so we can at least use Starbirth to get this Crobat out, but we can't really attack at the same time.
No, but there it is. The Starbirth being fired off. Now, you mentioned earlier about sort of the idea of Beedrill being the key here, because of course with that with one grass energy, of course it can instant knock out any Pokemon with a special energy attached. But if this game plays out how we think it's going to, and Gilbert's going for a essentially repeated Psychic Leap strategy by using Mew V Max to copy a benched Mew V, there's going to be nothing with special energy on for the Beedrill to attack.
Yeah, if you only attach the turn you need to leap, then you can't be surprise KO'd.
Yes. And of course, that does mean that maybe you get disrupted and you miss the energy, and then, that's obviously a bit of a struggle. But Gilbert can play this cleverly and kind of avoid the Beedrill trap, as it were. Jorrit, in the meantime, does go for a level ball and grab that Sobble. Very important, of course. That means next turn a Drizzile could come down. And Jorrit going to be going here for the Trinity Charge, which, of course, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so does somewhat depend if this Sobble gets value, will depend on Gilbert's ability to find a Jolteon. If he can get the Jolteon down, there is already the memory capsule in play. So sets that up. And I think Gilbert here saw the 3 grass energy and kind of chuckled about, okay, so you're a bees.
Yeah.
You're a bees deck, okay.
And although, of course, with 3 grass energy going on to the Arceus V-Star, that is, of course, less grass energy to attach to the Beedrill should it come out.
Yeah.
And now, as for Gilbert, like you said, needs to get that Jolteon really online to stop that Drizzile from coming in doing the shady dealings. Maybe a Chromatic Heads can get there? No?
Will we see... just burn the power tablet, thin the hand down.
Then Fusion Strike system for 4, it looks like. And there's 2 quick balls. For 3. But there is a Mew VMAX, so that's solid. You definitely need that.
And we have another chance at the dig with the next Fusion Strike system.
Yep. So now Gilbert only has 2 of these down, so as in Genesect Vs. So he's only going to have access to 2 Fusion Strike systems per turn. And going to be, not even grabbing anything off that, just really wants to thin the hand down, really needs to find that Jolteon. He does only play 1 copy, so that might make it a little bit trickier for him to find it.
And it's going to be difficult because having to commit the bench space with this kind of game plan I don't think we haven't drawn it naturally, as it were.
There is a Marnie, though.
Yeah.
So Marnie can just dig that extra little bit and maybe try to find something. And there is the double turbo attachment to the active as well.
I don't know how much I love that. Because we know we're a Drill deck, right? Having the second energy down means that in theory, Jorrit would be able to, if you use your Mew VMAX to attack this turn, the Mew that has the double turbo energy is now just something can be bossed, or you can. I guess you can't boss and get the Beedrill into play on the same turn, so it's not going to end up being a huge deal. But this is now at risk, unnecessarily almost.
Yeah, there is something very interesting to note though. With the 3 grass energy on the bench Arceus V-Star, 1 in the prizes, there's only 1 grass energy left in the whole deck.
Beedrill only wants 1.
Yeah, it's true, but I mean, Jorrit has to find it after the single strike mustard.
Yeah.
And there is the Jolteon off of the Ultra Ball. So yeah, that Drizzile is no longer an option, and that's gonna really hurt Jorrit a lot, actually.
Yeah, Jorrit here is kind of going like, let's take a moment to think about what on earth is going on.
Yeah, and I think both of us are wondering the same thing, honestly. Oh, there's a Crushing Hammer as well, so let's see. And that is a heads. Down goes one Grass Energy, and then just the retreat. And are we going to see the Psychic Leap, or maybe just even a Technoblast? Yeah, just a Technoblast. Take a knockout.
Go for it.
That works.
I like this idea, actually, for the Mew, because what this kind of does is it puts you in a cool spot where you can either go for the aggressive tempo with these big KOs and put the pressure down, or you can kind of just chill a little bit. And if you know you're going to be in a game where you need to grind it out for a few turns, gives you the actual ability to properly grind out for a few turns.
And we know for a fact, because we've seen it many, many times before over many different formats, just how game-changing one single heads-on Crushing Hammer can be. So if you combine that with arguably the most powerful draw engine in the entire game, that's probably going to lead to some good results.
Yeah, and it does run into consistency issues, because obviously it doesn't always come off, but when it does, it can be huge. Yeah. So we see Ultra Ball taken, shuffling.
I slightly missed what it was that was grabbed. I think under normal circumstances, of course, Jorrit would have insta-grabbed the Drizzile, but not an option there. So yeah, just going for the Arceus V instead, and then going for his own Marnie.
Yeah, Marnie's back, and will be interesting. A lot of disruption from both players available.
Yeah, there's the single strike Mustard. Not much use right now, of course.
Yeah, does need to find a way of thinning the rest of this hand out, which is possible, but perhaps a little difficult.
And is that just going to be, yeah, looks like a retreat into the Arceus V-Star. Jorrit did draw the Water Energy, so can attach that and, yeah, go for another Trinity Nova. Doing a solid 230 here, so just about as close to maximum as the Trinity Nova damage gets, and that will set up nicely for a two-shot. But Gilbert can just Psychic Leap.
Exactly, and this is why I think this is a really cool bring, because in a two-hit format, like, you get away with this. It's not actually the max damage because of the Oricario.
Oh, okay, sorry, that is true. Yeah, so 210.
Yeah, which 210. There we go.
Yeah, there it is.
So the very fact that the damage is reduced, you can then just basically tank the hit, shuffle in, go again, repeat. And I guess the idea is that realistically, your Mews are probably two-hit knockouting a lot of Arceus.
Yes.
So if you can chip damage into KO, that's perfect. Like, that sets up the game beautifully for you.
Yeah. Also, that's the last Grass Energy in the deck that Jorrit just attached to the bench. So he's just foregoing the Beedrill this game, it looks like. As we see another Crushing Hammerheads as well.
Yeah. That's basically the energy gone. Though, weirdly, by discarding the energy, it opens up plays for Jorrit, because he has things like Ordinary Rod.
Oh, okay. So Ordinary Rod and Training Court as well.
There's almost an argument to leave the Grass Energies where they are for now, because it just sticks it.
Yeah. There's... Oh, hold on. So Gilbert played a boss's orders, and now... apparently, well, okay.
There was just double checking something, which is fine.
He might have thought, well, maybe this is not a good idea, but I think he realized that now he needs to move VMAX to get the KO. Effectively, he did hit it, so it's fine. Now he can just retreat into the other one and still go for the KO with the Technoblast, of course.
Does stop the leaps plays, though.
It does, but I think Gilbert, at this point, I'm thinking, I'm so ahead on tempo, I honestly don't even care at this point.
I think that's one of the nice things, right, is... when you take the two prizes aggressively into the Arceus, and then you can just basically keep doing it.
Yeah. And not only that, but Gilbert doesn't necessarily notice yet, but Jorrit is not playing a Crobat VMAX, so that Crobat is just sitting up for the last two prizes at any point.
Yep. And we've always seen these support Pokemon be prize liabilities, right? And the very fact that there are now two VMAX, which you need to just retreat between the two to keep Technoblasting, is scary, scary news if you're Jorrit.
Yeah, so here we were saying, oh yeah, this is kind of a more disruptive Mew list, so you'd probably be doing like a lot of Psychic Leaps, but no, like Gilbert might just announce Technoblast 3 times and just take the win that way.
Yep. No KO without the Power Tablet, obviously, this time.
Yeah, just 10 short, which is frustrating. That might be why Gilbert was
like, oh wait, it doesn't work.
Yeah, it kind of, or rather, it would have been fine if he hit the Power Tablet off the Genesect draws, but he didn't. So now it's a bit sad times.
We do see one of the Power Tablets is prized.
Yeah, no,
So-
but he's been through one already, so there's 2 more in the deck.
So Jorrit now having to math the turn out and go, well, I can't search my deck for all my one-ofs. I like searching my deck for all my one-ofs, but bees?
Yeah.
Question mark?
So I guess one thing that could work. I mean, actually, Gilbert using Boss's orders to bring up this Arceus V is still pretty nice because the thing is, this is going to have a hard time retreating now because, of course,
Yes.
Arceus has a retreat cost of 2. Jorrit's going to need to find like a switch out and a training court to attack with this Beedrill. Although if he does find that, that is knockout guaranteed. So let's see what he gets. There is the single strike mustard getting the Beedrill from the deck, and 5 cards drawn. Does Jorrit find what he needs?
I'm just going through the list. I don't think there is a way currently to get the the switch out.
Right, because of course the one air balloon's already on the Crobat and he only plays the 1.
So
Well, that's awkward.
does make it a little bit more awkward.
Yeah,
so
well, Jorrit, there's no way for Jorrit to attack with the Beedrill this turn then. Because I mean, he did hit the training court as well, so he has one of the 2 things he would need in theory, but with no switch out, no Beedrill, unfortunately.
yeah, the Arceus is just going to be stuck for a turn. But that's only bad if Gilbert's able to punish by KO in the Beedrill. Right? If Gilbert's able to KO the Beedrill here, it takes them off their prize trade, so they may not love that idea. But if they can KO the Beedrill, you're kind of back to square one.
Whilst that is true to some extent, I think you don't really care about carrying the Beedrill at this point. Like, you're trading favorably on prizes anyway, so you just go, you know, KO a V, win the game. I think that's kind of what Gilbert's thinking right now. I guess, to be fair, it might be a bit of a struggle with if Jorrit was able to get the KO this turn, then it might be a bit of a worry because, of course, you know, 2 KOs on a VMAXs and then you've lost. But
I imagine Gilbert was very much going, please don't have switch, please don't have switch, please don't have switch.
Yeah.
And then they're like, your turn, you're like, okay, it's all good.
Yeah, it's a bit of a relief there. And also, I mean, not only that, but now Gilbert can take the KO on this Arceus V with the damaged Mew, and then Jorrit needs to find like a boss's order to get the maximum value KO on the undamaged Mew VMAX. So I think Gilbert's sitting pretty here, honestly. I think not having to switch out for Jorrit really kind of put him on the back foot because that could have been the chance turn to get the tempo back in his favor.
Yeah.
But Gilbert's going to take a 4-prize lead now.
And that is very difficult for a VMAX deck to come back from, giving up the 3 prizes when they get KO'd. Is fine, but if they're still ahead on prizes after KO the first VMAX, you're kind of fine.
Yeah. And it looks like the training court accidentally went to the discard pile. Let's get that back on the field. It's something to do sometimes because you play a card and use the effect and think, oh yeah, it's done now, right? But no, it stays on the field. Not that Gilbert can make use of it, of course, because he's only got special energies in his deck. There's another Crushing Hammer, though. That one is Tails, okay. So Gilbert, 2 for free currently on Crushing Hammer heads.
And Fusion Strike System.
Although it's funny with Crushing Hammer, because again, it's another one of these cards where, sure, if you miss hitting heads, it's annoying, but then it's just a card you thin out of your hand and you can draw more Fusion Strike System.
Yeah.
So there's still synergy there.
And like this is why I think you can get away with playing so many of these coin flippy cards, because they just burn cards to draw cards anyway. But if they do flip heads, you're really happy.
Absolutely. And kind of Chromatic and Crushing Hammer kind of embody that spirit the most. As we've seen another Fusion Strike System, there is a Boss's Orders in Gilbert's hand, so
There's
obviously,
Power Tab.
yeah. I mean, he doesn't need it this turn, but yeah, there can be retreat into the damaged Mew VMAX. He doesn't even need to. He could Glistening Droplets to the KO if he wanted to. In fact, that might even be the best move because you could just put 1 on the Arceus V in the active and then 5 on, and then the others on something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 190 damage on the active.
Yeah. Again, filling the Fog Crystal from the hand, just another card that's isn't very useful right now, so just getting rid of it. And yeah, he's holding a Power Tablet in hand and a Boss Orders in hand. Gilbert has everything he needs to seal this game next turn, so Jorrit really needs to disrupt Gilbert's hand again if he stands any chance of recovering.
And now Gilbert working out which attack to use,
Yep.
and yeah, it is going to be the droplets.
Yep, so there's going to be 1 on there and the rest on the Crobat.
Yeah. And takes the KO. Goes to 2 prizes remaining.
It's a bit of an interesting choice. I would have preferred to see it go in the Arceus V-Star because that's kind of a little bit harder to... Because that's harder to reach the KO for. You had the KO on the Crobat V regardless.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just because they're conscious of the double turbo energy to an extent.
Right, I guess so. Also, thinking about it, maybe worried that it might evolve into a Crobat VMAX. He doesn't know that Jorrit doesn't play that, so maybe that could be factoring in as well.
Yeah, so we'll see the training court come down. Now, this is a turn that if Jorrit is able to boss the non-damaged Mew and take the KO there, though that hand does not look like it's going to support such an option.
No.
If you could B-drill the non-damaged Mew and leave the damaged Mew then left for the RCS to pick off, basically, say, look, you boss or you lose.
Yeah.
But we see the boss in hand,
Yeah.
and that will end the game 1-0 for Gilbert.
Yes.
With a really interesting list. I think it's a fun approach to this deck. It's a different approach to this deck.
Yeah.
A bit more disruption.
I think the problem had was that Jorrit both had to sort of boss his orders and Marnie in that turn, and that is not a legal play to make in the Pokemon trading card game. So I think Gilbert had that one pretty much on lock as soon as that second KO was taken, and kind of showing, just how you can play Mew differently and still have a frighteningly powerful deck on your hands.
Yeah, and what we've got here is a deck that is more flexible than just the hit you in the face as hard as I can approach to Mew. It can go through that kind of aggressive take the KOs approach. It can slow the game down. It can find different lines, but also just the very fact that you're trying to go fast. Those crushing hammers setting one turn back, you're going quick anyway.
Yeah.
If you get one turn ahead in the energy attachments where they can't attack, you're now miles ahead.
It's especially harsh against other Arceus decks specifically, right? Because they need that 2 energy attachments with the double turbo and then a basic energy to do the Trinity Nova. So just getting a early crushing hammer heads can be the difference between your opponent firing off a Trinity Nova or not. And then if they don't fire it off, sure, they can Starbirth and search for stuff, but they're not getting any damage on the field, so you're going to be ahead on damage tempo.
Yeah, really interesting list, and has clearly done pretty well today so far, as we're hopefully going to get into Game 2 soonish, and maybe see Arceus Beedrill be able to get that. I think getting an early Beedrill, if you can get like the turn 1 or 2,
that definitely helps a lot more.
I think that would make a big difference.
Yeah, because then at that point you're threatening something that can actually take free prizes super easily. At that point, Gilbert has to Psychic Leap to protect himself, whereas in that game, he didn't even need to worry about it, really.
No. It was basically, cool, I can stick with plan A, and we'll think about plan B if the Beedrill starts getting scary, but the Beedrill hit the board way too late.
Yeah, so here come down the prizes. So it looks like, a couple of Marnies for Jorrit, but again, nothing unworkable really here. Just one of, I believe that's he's playing a full complement of 4 Arceus V, so prizing one is really not the end of the world.
Yeah.
One of his 2 training courts prize could be slightly annoying, but again, nothing insurmountable. Let's see what Gilbert prizes here. This is still shuffling up. Imagine I've taken a mulligan.
Can easily happen. Though not so often with me. There are a ton of basics in there.
Yeah, it's true. But it looks like he was deciding to which basics to open with, and okay, there we go. So Flannery prized is a bit of a shame. That's only one of 2 Battle VIP passes, and the Jolteon as well.
Okay.
That's a definitely much rougher prize set for Gilbert, I would say.
So this is going to be a really interesting matchup now, because this means that if Jorrit is able to stick an early path, that's it.
Yeah,
that path is stuck.
That's a very good point, actually. That could be extremely rough.
And we also know now that the Drizzle is always going to remain live.
Yes.
Until at least later in, fairly late in the game, judging by where that Jolteon is positioned.
Yeah. There is only one saving grace here for Gilbert, and that is in the fact that Jorrit has no way to find an energy and doesn't have one in his hand, so there'll be no turn 1 energy drop going down, and that is kind of huge.
Well, that's not strictly true. There is the Crobat V in the list.
Oh, there is? Oh, of course, yeah, so he can take more cards of that, and I imagine that is what he will be doing, because you really want that turn 1 energy drop.
Yeah, so taking the time on the first search, always very valuable doing this.
Yes.
Being able to quickly go through your deck, and not necessarily checking for all of your prize cards, but just get a feel of like, okay, for this matchup, I definitely feel like I want these cards.
Yeah.
Okay, these ones are prized. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, you want to get the important stuff sort of checked. You don't need to necessarily exactly know every single game what each of your 6 prize cards are, but having a general idea of like the numbers you're working with, and especially if you're key one of tech surprise, that's pretty important.
As we see another level ball grabbing another Sobble.
Yeah, so that's going to be 3 Sobbles hitting the field on turn 1, and without even a keep calling. It's pretty impressive.
Only risk here, obviously, is if Gilbert sees the EV plus the memory charm, then or memory capsule, then you're like, oh no, there's a lot of dead bench that I've just thrown down.
Yes.
But
Because, of course, yeah, Jorrit doesn't quite know yet that the Jolteon on his prize, but there goes down the Crobat V, the Dark Asset ability, letting Jorrit draw to 6 in hand.
and we do get actually even better. It's the water energy, which is strictly speaking the best energy to attach in this situation, saving grasses for later.
Yes, so that's happy days from Jorrit here, but Gilbert, in spite of prizing 2 Battle VIP passes, does still open with 1.
Must
and is,
be nice.
Yes, and is going to be able to set himself up very, very nicely here indeed.
Again, going through prize checking. These opening turns, these opening Battle VIP passes for Mew are so important. The very fact that you can just basically fill your board to that extent and basically set yourself up to basically go for the rest of the game, right? And it's interesting to see the Oricorio taken on one of the first searches. That's almost always going to be a Genesect.
Yeah, but I think it might be because looking at the hand there, I think there is a load of search cards in the hand. So I think Gilbert knows that, yeah, there's going to be plenty of time and plenty more search options to get more Genesects down. So there goes down Genesect number 1. 2 Mews out, definitely what you want. And the Oricorio, although it wasn't like 100% vital in like the last match, the glistening droplets was nice to have as like an attacking option. And of course, reducing damage is always nice, right? So I can understand why they ended up going for it. There's going to be... Oh, there's goes to Crushing Hammer. It's going to be a big flip. Oh, that is a Tails, though.
Yeah, and that is huge, because we saw that you actually had to dig a little bit to even get there. And if it had been knocked off, that would have been real good for Gilbert. But instead, refills the hand with a Fusion Strike system.
Yeah, it draws a Choice Belt, a Power Tablet, and a Boss's Orders. Going to attach a Choice Belt to the Mew V. There is an Ultra Ball there as well, so probably going to use that. Yeah, discard the 2 cards that they drew and get that EV down. But okay, so slight misplay here from Gilbert, not perhaps realizing that's the Jolted prize, or maybe just...
It's a bluff.
Yes.
Like, this is basically saying, hey, you're going to need to go pay attention to this and think about this. Like, it could be either. It could be a bluff. It could be just kind of not having checked.
Oh, he had the memory capsule, so yeah, it makes complete sense here. So now it kind of, because Jorrit doesn't know, of course, that the Jolteon is prize, so now Jorrit's thinking, oh, maybe I need to focus and target this down, and that way Gilbert's not worrying about his more vital attackers being taken out.
Yeah, it kind of buys a free turn if Jorrit wants to go down that route and feels the need to do so. No attachment that turn, though?
No, I mean, no attachment isn't the end of the world. In fact, it means you're actually protected from a B-draw now, so that's fine, as it were. But with that Arceus V-Star coming down, that does mean that there's going to almost inevitably be a KO on this Mew V, because, of course, even with the damage reduction from the double turbo energy, the Arceus V-Star Trinity Nova can still KO a Mew V with its only having 180 HP.
Yeah, so...
But... like we were just saying, does the bluff pay off here, and does Jorrit think maybe, oh, I've got to target down this EV straight away?
Well, this is... I'm trying to put myself in their shoes and think, right, would I be going after this EV? Or would I just go, okay, the 2 prizes are available. If I can go Path plus take 2 prizes, maybe Marnie that hand down, how worried am I about things? Also, actually, with the Oricorio, don't we actually need a damage mod now?
Oh, with the Oricorio down, yes, we do. That's probably one of the reasons why Gilbert put it down, because that kind of makes it sort of one less card, or one more card is needed for Jorrit to take the KO. It is a very good point indeed. And Jorrit is looks like he's kind of debating heavily on the search choice here. Maybe going to go for a Quick Ball. Yeah, looks like Quick Ball is going to be what is grabbed off the Shady Dealings. Going to have one last look at the hand before deciding. There is another Drizzle in hand, which is helpful, but there it is. So there's the damage modification being searched out. So there goes the Choice Belt being whacked straight onto the Arceus V-Star, and then another Drizzle going down, Shady Dealings again, maybe this time going for the Quick Ball.
Yeah, still has access to Starbirth too, so can theoretically basically clear their hand if they wanted to be able to mustard, and that looks likely.
Yeah.
Is the plan?
Yeah, there it is. Starbirth for, what, double turbo single strike mustard?
I think so, right? You can put the B-drill down.
Yeah.
Threaten with it. You can get the KO on the active. So you can take 2 prize cards and say, right, I dare you to play a special energy.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty strong position for Jorrit to be in, because now he's taken the early prize lead, and he's threatening something that can force Gilbert into a psychic leap. So this is a much, much stronger game state for Jorrit to be in.
Yeah, and we'll see some mustard being played. 5 cards from the top, and the B draw hitting the board.
It's a pretty decent draw as well. We see a Grass Energy and a Big Charm and a Level Ball, meaning that there could be like another Shady Dealings happening either this turn or next.
So with the Air Balloon giving this Drizzle in the active free retreat, it just floats on out of the way, and we'll see the RCS V-Star come in. And
yeah, the only thing with this is that there's nothing really great to Trinity Nova onto, right? You don't really want to
yeah,
Trinity Nova.
I was just looking at this going, I mean, maybe you just put 1 on B-Draw?
You can't. I'm pretty sure Trinity Nova only attaches to V Pokemon.
Oh, in that case, you put 1 on the Crobat to move it.
Yeah, so
Like,
yeah,
it's a retreater at some point, right? If you need to escape rope or something.
Yeah, I guess that would be the one choice. Or you could put 2 on the active and then retreat with the double turbo so that you can do more damage later with the Trinity Nova. That would be an option as well.
Okay. Oh no, I like this instead. Instead, they're going, cool, if I move one of these Drizzles now,
then
I can put something down if need be, which looks like that might be Jorrit's line instead.
Yeah. So although there's no,
there's nothing to put down. Never mind. Ignore me.
So I think that's just a scoop up that being safe for next turn, or possibly. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. It's a bit of a strange one. Because the thing is, there's nothing. If you scoop up net now, you're kind of like. I guess he just wants to make sure that there's something.
Well, you can rebench the Sobble and you have your search for next turn.
But you could have left yourself in that same state by just not evolving the current Sobble, and then you still have. You essentially just like burned a scoop up net for no reason at this point.
But maybe it looks like just going to commit to having the idea of having this bench space.
Okay, in that case, this makes a little bit more sense because if you just decided to pick it up and then put it back down again, you're literally achieving the same board state whilst burning a card you didn't need to.
Okay, so Gilbert now down 2 prize cards. This Arceus has got rolling a lot faster this game.
Sure has. No energy attachment from Jorrit either from the Trinity Nova, so looks like just deciding, there's nothing great to attach here, I'll just leave things as is. From Gilbert's side, we see a Fog Crystal grabbing another Mew, of course, very important to grab that ASCP. We do see some thinning cards in hand as well. There's a Mew VMAX for good measure, and 1 Power Tablet, Quick Ball discarding a Escape Rope, definitely don't need that right now. The Arceus V-Star is the biggest threat. And I think we're going to see some more Fusion Strike systems.
Yeah, and basically, are we the attach plus a Fusion Strike system away from a KO?
Or
do we need? I think we need maybe another damage.
No,
mod.
we need one more because so Technoblast is 210, so 240, 270. Chromatic, can this get in there? That's a Tails again. Oh no!
I think there's a second Chromatic in hand though.
Okay, there we go. There's the heads.
Okay, so now it's basically grab the Power Tablet, play it, and then hope to draw. Okay, but 2 Power Tablets stuck together at the bottom of the deck there. So.
Well, I mean, now you have it guaranteed, right? Because with the Choice Belt plus the 2 Power Tablets, there's definitely enough to KO.
If you hit the double... Okay, there's the double turbo.
Oh, right, okay, yes, of course. That's important search as well. So grabbing that and then, hoping to hit the other...
The last out.
From the Fusion Strike system. It's going to be a lot of cards drawn here, so it's more likely that that will happen, but you never know, of course. Does Fusion Strike system number 2, does he get the extra damage modifier that he needs?
Yes.
There it is.
I actually hit 2?
Yes, well, he only needs one of them though, so.
Save the rest for later, and now we are able to Techno Blast for the KO.
Yes, but now here comes the scary state, right? Because Technoblast takes the KO here, and the Arceus V-Star goes down. Jorrit is ready with that Grass Energy in hand to take the return knockout.
He's just going to go, lol.
Yeah. And I think Gilbert is aware of this and is maybe considering making another move just to try and maybe counteract this or think about it. Actually goes for the Marnie, it looks like. So very, very clever, realizing that, I want to reduce the chance of Jorrit hitting a Grass Energy as much as possible. Let's Marnie this hand away.
Yep.
And just make that a little bit safer for me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Gilbert's got more double turbo energies to work with for next turn, so that's a pretty good draw from him as well.
And...
there
goes the knockout.
Technoblast takes the KO, and Gilbert able to grab a Mew V and one of the card from his prizes. And Now back to Jorrit as he draws a Sobble, it looks like, and
Oh, he got the big shady.
yes. Of course, the Inteleon with the Shady Dealer's ability, one extra, upgrade on the ability from the Drizzle, able to grab not just one, but two trainers from the deck. And that's going to be sad news for Gilbert, as I'm fairly sure there's still an Energy Search in deck. And if that's the case, well, there's the KO guaranteed. Yeah, there it is.
Yep, the Energy Search, and also I think has even access to the Trainer's Court if it's grass energy in discard, so would have access to it a couple of different ways. I actually really like the idea here of going Energy Search plus the Stadium. Right, just like if you can do it this turn, you've seen your opponent has like committed a lot of stuff. They did just take 3 prize cards, so they have a fairly large hand, but
That's
2 prize cards.
yeah. Although actually, very importantly, one of the prize cards that Gilbert got was the Flannery.
Yeah, this is the thing. Is like if you haven't seen any like the Flannery discarded and stuff like, maybe this is a good turn to try and get the ability locked down. But first things first, prioritize this B drill. Make sure the B drill can do its persists thing for the knockout. But then from there, it's what's the game plan? What else do we want to achieve this turn, right?
Yeah. And from Jorrit looking at his hand, as I said, there's another Sobble in there. I think I saw a Pal Pad as well.
Yes.
And she's going to make sure that he grabs the 2 perfect cards for the given moment. Yeah, Energy Search being card number 1, that's the obvious one. And then, yeah, maybe you do just grab the second one, like you said, a Stadium of some kind, to pass to the peak to disrupt. You've not seen any kind of counter come down yet, but nope, just looks like it's just going to be a Professor's Research. Maybe he didn't have any better draw outs without that, so it's kind of ended up becoming necessary.
Yeah. Could also consider things like Scoop Up Net in that situation, because it's like, cool, maybe I don't want 1 extra card, I want 2 extra cards, so I can play the Inteleon on the other Drizzle.
Yes. Oh, the Pass the Peak's in hand already.
Okay, so we can just jam this before we research, right?
Yeah, and a Training Court too, but is he just going to retreat and attack? Okay, Pal Pad. It's a very small thing, but it's like one of those things where you look at it, and sometimes the retreat is something that you know you're going to do, and it's something you know you're going to do, and it's guaranteed, right? So
you can wait.
Yeah, you don't have to do it straight away, because like maybe something comes up for some reason. I know in this situation it's extremely unlikely, but maybe something comes up that does change your mind or change your line of play slightly. So you didn't really need to retreat straight away, but yeah, it is going to be pass the peak down and then just the Professor's Research.
Yeah. Seeing the Flannery taken from the prizes, Gilbert's already going, well, at least I'm getting some use out of this right now.
Yeah. No special energy discard, but I think removing the pass to the peak is more important right now.
Yeah. Does need to find a way of KOing this B drill, otherwise the B drill's just going to go back-to-back KOs for the win.
Yep. And I think this is going to be like a key factor for Jorrit as well. We did see he actually put a single strike mustard back into the deck with the power pad.
To be able to do it again.
Yeah. So that's going to be, I think, the key thing. Can Jorrit do 2 single strike mustards in a row? If he can, he's going to win the game. But if not, then maybe Gilbert has a chance at a comeback.
Okay, so Gilbert goes down to, has the mute disappear. Jorrit down to a single prize card left, 1 game away from tying up this series. As we see the mute V hit the bench. Basically, Gilbert wants to make sure that there's always one of those on the bench at all times, ready to evolve, or to be able to copy the Psychic Leap, depending on what the board calls for.
And maybe now is the time for Gilbert to consider doing some Psychic Leap looping, because the Beedrill can't one-shot a Mew with its other attack, the one that does the 130 and then the energy gets discarded. Or is it 110? I believe it's 100 and something, I know that much. But it's not a huge amount of damage in any case. 110, yeah. There goes the double turbo energy and the Marnie as well. Yeah, recognizing that Jorrit has a big hand, so best to cut that one down to size. That hand looks more like a deck, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's always great if you can do that after a VMAX KO, because they just added 3 cards that you don't know.
Yeah, it's best to just, all that stuff you just got into your hand, make it go away.
Yeah, and like there is value in learning how to hand read, of like working out what they're playing. It's difficult to do when people draw as many cards.
Yeah.
In this format, it's difficult for it, but
there's
just easier if it's only 4 cards.
Yes, there is a heads on Cram, so going to be going for the Mew VMAX straight away, I imagine, and he can't quite get the KO of a Psychic Leap yet, but with 2 damage modifiers, he could get there. And I think Psychic Leaping plus KO on the Beedrill would be a pretty good call if that was something that he was able to do.
Well, also, after the Marnie, I don't hate Technoblasting the active.
No, that's true. I think it's definitely less of a risk now, safe to say. And very cleverly here, Gilbert, off the Chromatic, instead of going straight for the Mew VMAX, thinks, I'll go for the Ultra Ball, discard 2 cards out of my hand. That way my Fusion Strike systems will draw more cards.
Well, if you could use them.
Well, yes, but... oh, yeah, that's true. He money instead of Flannerying, so that's... I think I just assumed that he Flanneryed, but no,
Yeah,
I guess
and there
not.
is the Technoblast taking the
Fair.
KO.
Okay. So now it just comes down to, can Jorrit get down another Beedrill with a Grass Energy? If he can, that will be the game 2 wrapped up.
And this is a Drizzile. And if there's a Drizzile, there's a chance.
Yes, there is. Is that a Raihan I see in the hand as well? Is that
Yeah.
the other supporter? I think Jorrit might be a little bit short because... Yeah, I don't think he can do it because he has 2 double turbos in hand and he'd have to attach one of them to get the mass right, but then if he attaches the double turbo, he can't attach the grass to the Beedrill. He might be a little bit short.
I'm trying to work out if there's a way of doing scoop up nets. With the Ultra Ball, if we scoop it, so we can go Drizzle on the Subble, grab a scoop up net. I know, okay, because this doesn't work because we have no out to retreat then. Because if we can go scoop up net on the active, you can then Inteleon to pick up the other bits to kind of thin the hand down some more, right?
Yeah.
So there is a way, but instead what we might see instead is maybe a Raihan play this turn to set up something instead.
Yeah, there is... there goes... The
Okay. Maybe this line does work.
Maybe. I mean, the annoying thing, of course, is that as soon as this Inteleon gets picked up with the scoop up net, that air balloon gets discarded, so your pivoting options are suddenly a lot more limited.
Well, actually, not more than that as well, though. Is that in theory, after the mustard, you could draw into another scoop up net.
Oh, that is true.
So it's not like there is a line here. It's just how much do you want to go for it all in one? Bearing in mind that you don't present a 3 prize option for Gilbert to win next turn, right? Like you could just chill this turn, set up the hand ready to pull this play off, and then commit.
Yeah. And you do have some time to do this as well because you don't have any free prizes down, so Gilbert can't guarantee a win next turn in any way, shape, or form. It's a very tricky turn for Jorrit, though. I can see why he's agonizing over this. This is very clearly gonna. This turn is probably gonna decide the course of the game. There goes the Shady Dealings finally deciding to go for the scoop up net. Yep, there goes the Inteleon. Going to bring up the Crobat. That air balloon needs to be discarded. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
And so... Wait, but if he's put the Crobat active, now he can't scoop up net the active anymore.
This is true. Also, he's only playing 2 scoop up net, and he burnt one earlier.
Oh, right,
so,
okay, yeah.
So he didn't actually have the option. I had to double check the list.
Okay.
Now we'll go into the Shady Dealings. And so basically that's what we're doing here instead. Is this turn, we're setting up a position to go, okay, let's see what the board state looks like and basically set everything up. This big Shady Dealings can mean that we can work out exactly what we need to take to guarantee ourselves a mustard next turn.
Yes. So there goes...
See a Rod.
Yeah, ordinary Rod and then maybe an Ultra Ball just because that hand needs thinning if he's going to try and pull this off.
Or could opt to take the mustard so it's in hand. There's already an Ultra Ball there.
Yeah.
You can double turbo to give something retreat next turn, so you can retreat into the Crobat easier.
There is the mustard.
Yeah. Okay, so I kind of like this. I can kind of see the line. You got to put the Beedrill back in.
Yeah. Actually, has he discarded both of them? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had to do this first anyway because I believe he's only playing the 2 Beedrill.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So this was mandatory. This was like a non-optional line essentially. That ordinary Rod had to get played. And so now, yeah, I think you're right. There's going to be some level of essentially like setup in mind to try and get this Beedrill going next turn.
But also, you only need the 1 prize card, right? So the other option is that you can actually attack with that Beedrill into the Eevee.
Yeah.
Right? Or like that's also a valid line as we just passed the turn. But basically, Jorrit has everything set up and is just going to retreat. And I like this play.
Wait. Gilbert just
no. This is so heads up. They can't boss and they can't boss.
Wow, that's
big brain.
Yeah, that's Gilbert recognizing exactly what Jorrit's going for and says, no, you know what? I'm not taking this bait. You can have this Mew with no energy on it.
Also, like at this point, you have a feeling of, you have an idea of how much time is left on the round. You can afford to basically go, cool, I'm going to make you make you win this.
Yes.
I'm not going to lose. I'm going to make you win.
Yeah, and let's be honest as well. I mean, one of the biggest snags for Gilbert is that Joel's win the prizes. If that was, if he had access to that, like none of this that Jorrit is doing would be possible. So the fact that Gilbert has managed to, find this line in spite of not having access to Jolteon is insanely heads up on his part.
Okay, so this will be really interesting to see now. Is basically say, look, you have to get the Beedrill down this turn, and you can't also KO. And if I can KO the Beedrill again, I don't care.
Yeah, Gilbert is like recognizing the game state, knowing exactly the sequence of things that needs to happen on Jorrit's side for Gilbert to lose, essentially.
Yes.
And playing his board in a way to basically force Jorrit to telegraph it so that Gilbert can then respond to it before it becomes a big problem.
I don't know if this hand currently plays into... Okay, it does with the second Ultra Ball, okay.
Yeah.
I was just trying to work out if this hand actually plays into the ability to mustard this turn.
Yeah, with the 2 Ultra Balls, that can work. But Jorrit just passing, also recognizing, I know that you're trying to... I know what you're doing here, and I'm also not falling for the bait to answer my bait.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, cool, you're going to have to, like, for Gilbert to win the game, he has to attack. And he has to not use Psychic Leap, realistically.
Yes. I guess the way forward to Gilbert here would be to Boss's Orders Psychic Leap KO a Drizzile, and then...
Yes, exactly. If you can pull that off, then you put yourself in 2 prize territory, and then you're like, okay, it's fine, because I only have to KO the Crobat to win the game.
Yeah. Did he... Wait,
Jorrit didn't attach last turn.
Oh, yeah, he didn't.
If he had attached last turn, he could have retreated.
Oh, so maybe Gilbert recognizing that, and now that's why he's just going for the Technoblast. Yeah, there's no scoop up nets left. No, there's no way for Jorrit to retreat now. Right, so now what does he do? There goes, so Ultra Ball discarding Ultra Ball and a double Turbo Energy. You can look through the deck. I'm looking through. I'm not seeing the path forward for Jorrit here.
If he had attached to the turn before, then this play is different because you have the retreat into it.
Yeah, maybe it's just a slip in the mind. Jorrit didn't even think that just think about what if the Crobat gets KO'd.
Yeah.
Then what? But Gilbert recognizing that, thinking, actually I can KO this Crobat because there's no way for Jorrit to get this Beedrill into the active. But again, super heads up play from Gilbert here.
Well, this is the thing. Like, not only is it a weird list, which makes it difficult to play against. If you're practiced with these weird lists, you see that these like little subtle lines, like the whole retreat pass.
Yeah, the retreat pass, the KO on the Crobat. It's like it's unorthodox, and you think, oh, hold on, what's going on here? That surely that isn't a good idea. But then you look back with the benefit of hindsight, and you think, oh, this is actually the best idea.
Yeah. So let's see, and I think that's Jorrit basically going, yeah, you win because you just KO me, right?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, and there it is. Gilbert, a insanely impressive 2-0 win from Gilbert there, navigating a very sort of awkward prizing and kind of awkward turns to turn what could have been like a very disastrous game 2 into a win for him. Like, super well done to Gilbert. That was well-deserved, I think it's safe to say.
No, and it was really nice. Like, there was just a few small plays in there that Gilbert made that were like, okay, I recognize the situation, right? When you play a deck a lot, you can get kind of sucked into the kind of muscle memory of a deck of like, I always do this after I do this, and this and this and this. But that was Gilbert going, wait a minute, here's what the board actually says. So I'm going to do what the board is telling me to do. And that was what ended up winning the game. Jorrit did, unfortunately, burn a few resources early that ended up being far more important. And there were like little things like not attaching the turn before and things like that that I think the game plays very differently if there's a few things ironed out. But that doesn't take away from Gilbert having to spot and punish these kinds of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And sort of working as hard as he did, considering the Jolteon was prized as well, which would have made that win a lot easier for him, let's be honest, but still finding those like tiny little lines to exploit maybe some slight misplays from Jorrit's side, and able to navigate that masterfully to take the win there.
Well, something with misplays, right, it's very easy to sit and criticize them, but actually when you're playing, the ability to spot and punish a misplay is what can mean that the good players can consistently win.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Like, if players make a mistake, being able to punish and correctly not spotted like the flashy punish, but just going, here's the bare minimum I need to do to make sure you realize that was a mistake.
Yeah.
That is actually really difficult to do consistently.
Yeah, it is, and if you need like a masterclass in doing exactly that, look no further than
Exactly.
that previous game.
Like really, really well played. I think we're basically near time though on that round, so I think we'll be cutting either to a break or to an interview. But
yeah, we're gonna see there if we can get the interview.
No, I think it's gonna be a break actually because
okay,
it's right up in time. So
okay,
we'll be back soon with the next round. I hope everyone enjoyed that slightly different take on a Mew list. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with round 7 shortly.